Hey y'all, welcome to Diamond and Silk, the podcast where your host Diamond and Silk oh Silk.
Diamond oh diamond.
A lot to talk about, but before we get started, I want you to stop right now.
Stop.
And I want you to subscribe to this podcast. So each time we drop a new episode, you will receive notification. And don't forget about our book, Uprising. Who the hell said you can't ditch and switch? The Awakening of Diamond and Silk. You can get the book at diamondandsilkbookstore.com.
And if you would like to advertise on this podcast, feel free to send an email to info@diamondandsilk.com. That's info@diamondandsilk.com. And if you're tired of all of that censorship going on the social media platform, then join Diamond and Silk new social media platform called Chatdit. ChatDit.com.
Well, Silk, we had the opportunity to talk to Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson right here in North Carolina.
Yes.
And guess what? He's the first black lieutenant governor.
Uh-huh.
So, we a little bit protective of him.
That's right.
Because we don't want him to be mistreated by anyone.
Nobody.
Well, we talked to him today, you all. So come with us so you all can join the conversation.
That's right.
So today, you all, we are having a conversation with Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson right here in North Carolina. There was some controversy surrounding the left and what they were trying to make this Lieutenant Governor out to be, and he got them straight.
Yes, he did. Let's see what the Lieutenant Governor had to say about this controversy.
Let me start out by saying this, and I'm going to preface these comments with this. This is not about anybody's point of view. It's not about your freedom of speech. I am wholeheartedly in favor of hearing everyone's opinion, no matter how vile someone may think it is. I'm wholeheartedly in favor of you being able to voice your opinion. But what I want to talk about here today is not about opinions. It is about who people say they are and who they prove themselves to be, and the hypocrisy thereof. Now here we are, second day of Black History Month, one day removed from television stations, newspapers, and other mediums celebrating February 1st down in my hometown of Greensboro, where people took a stand against racism and bigotry. And on the second day of Black History Month, the first black lieutenant governor of North Carolina has been portrayed as such by one of the largest news outlets in this state. Now, this is not a private individual. This is not somebody's Facebook page. This is a newspaper that goes out to millions of readers. A newspaper that, if asked, would tell you they stand up for equality and freedom and justice, that would stand up and celebrate Black History Month. A newspaper that did not even know that a black man was, the date that I was put into office on these steps, they weren't even aware of it. And they're right here in this town. And again, it's not about their right to say it. It's about them proving exactly who they are. That cartoon doesn't really bother me. What bothers me is the hypocrisy behind it. That's what bothers me. That you would portray a black man just because he's in the GOP as a Klansman. That you would portray an American Indian woman, a Native American woman, Olivia Oxendine, who's a Lumbee Indian, and who has had to face the Klan face to face and their egregious actions, and has had to fight against them. You would portray her as something that vile. The hypocrisy is mind-numbing, folks. And I'm here to tell you right now, this office is not going to stand by and let it go by. And when I'm not going to go along to get along, I'm going to call them out on every time. Because here it is. What I want to know from WRAL, is that who you are? Is that who you want to represent yourself to be in this state? And again, it's not a private individual. It's not a private Facebook page. That is a newspaper. It sells itself to millions of people across this state that would put something that vile out. And so, these standards we're talking about, they're not divisive. They're not giving us cause to look at them. The way they're written, put out things on social media about it. People are talking about this all across this state. People are waking up and seeing what's in these standards. And there's some serious discussions to be had about it. And if they're not divisive, how in the world do we end up here? When I understand the person who drew this is an 8th grade social studies teacher. That's true, and he's teaching these falsehoods. Because by the way, wasn't anybody in the GOP that promoted the Ku Klux Klan and the ideals thereof? I can tell you who did that. If he's promoting this in WRL, what is he doing in his classroom? So these standards are divisive. And this should give us pause to pump the brakes, slow down, and revisit this issue. And not pass these standards on tomorrow or on Thursday. When we're busy investigating people for simply going to Washington, D.C., and yes, the vast majority of people who went to Washington, D.C. just went to have their voice heard. There was a small minority who did some very bad things and should be punished. But the vast majority of people who went to Washington, D.C. simply went to have their grievances addressed. And now we're trying to hunt down those people and demonize those people simply for wanting to have their voices heard. While a teacher in a North Carolina middle school would draw a drawing like that, depicting the first black lieutenant governor as a Ku Klux Klansman. It's something we cannot stand for, folks. It's something that I'm not going to stand for. Free speech, yes, I'm all for it. But when your free speech proves you to be a hypocrite, and I will say this publicly, proves you to be a hypocrite and a liar, we won't stand silent for it, and we're going to stand up against it.
Please welcome to the show, Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson. Hello, and thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you. Sorry I'm having to come from the road, but it's been kind of crazy with the weather here and kind of hectic schedule. So we're happy to be here. Good to see you ladies again.
Oh,
Wow.
great to see you.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's just jump right into this story.
Yeah.
I'm just going to ask the question. Everything that's surrounding and everything that's going on, especially with the pandemic, parts of our state is still shut down.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, how do we get rid of Roy Cooper?
Well, unfortunately, he was voted back in, and looks like we're going to be dealing with Roy Cooper for another 3.5, 4 years. So I think what we need to do is we need to redouble our efforts in 2024. Make sure that we get somebody that's going to be in office, that's going to stand up and that's going to partner up with all of the council of state, not be a dictator. And we're just going to have to see what we can do on the next election, because right now it looks like he is the governor, and we're going to have to work with him as much as we can. And when we can't work with him, we're going to have to try to work around it.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor.
I love it. I love it.
Now, Lieutenant Governor, there was some controversy about this photo that was put out, or this artist that created some type of photo meme
Yeah.
depicting Republicans such as yourself and other Republicans as Klan members. And you came out and you addressed that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Have you heard anything about who did this? Have you received any apologies for that?
Well, of course, no, we didn't receive any apologies. I don't expect to receive any. I want to be clear about there was a cartoon that was in WRALs on their website. And I want to be clear about the cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
The cartoon in itself, I'm a very thick-skinned person. I don't mind, people lambasting me that disagree with me. I've done a lot of that myself. The major issue that I took with the cartoon is twofold. Number one, WRAL prides itself on delivering news and being fair and balanced. And, I'm pretty sure inside their newsroom, they would tell you that we don't tolerate bigotry. We don't tolerate those types of things. But here they are, this news station that presents itself one way, and then they come out with a cartoon that is blatantly racist and blatantly untrue. And then to cap all of this off, the entire issue stems from the fact that we are witnessing indoctrination in our schools, and we see the social studies standards as they're written are going to help continue that indoctrination. And every time we say it, people say, prove it. Well, here's the icing on the cake in this whole thing. The cartoon that was drawn depicting GOP members of the State Board of Education as Ku Klux Klansmen was drawn by an 8th grade social studies teacher right here in North Carolina.
Wow.
So that
is
tells you the
crazy.
exact state of what's going on in education. And it really proves what we've been saying. If this man is willing to do this type of stuff in public on a major news outlet, just think of what he may be saying to his students in class.
Wow.
Absolutely.
And I understand that all of this actually came about because of what happened before this, when it came down to the school curriculum. So can you expound upon that, please?
All right. So what happened is we had some fantastic standards that were written and they were ready to be approved in June. But what happened is some left-leaning members of the state school board objected to the standards as they were written and demanded that some of this very negative, very divisive, very left-leaning stuff be put inside the standards. All the stuff that we're objecting to.
Okay.
Things like calling our system systemically racist. And basically, like one of the school board members pointed out, it turned the standards into what could be called 50 reasons why the United States is a bad place to live. And so they interjected all this stuff into the standards, and we ended up with what we have now. And we objected to it. I objected to it at the first meeting that I went to in January. It was a virtual meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had a second meeting that I was a part of where I objected to those standards again. And then we had the third meeting where I vehemently objected as well, and also introduced, because they said that these standards had been reviewed by 7,000 North Carolinians, and 85% of them agreed with them. Well, we ran a poll and conducted a poll on our Facebook page. We had about 30,000 respondents, and all of them responded in the negative and said that these standards should not be passed. But apparently 30,000 to them means nothing, and they went ahead and they passed those standards anyway. So now the fight is to ensure that we can prove that indoctrination is happening in the classroom, and give parents and teachers a voice, a place where they can come and bring their concerns to, so we can compile that data so we can start fighting back properly.
Wow.
Lieutenant Governor, what do you think their objective is to really try to put in the minds of children to hate the United States of America? What's the objective here? What are they trying to do?
I really believe they're trying to fundamentally transform the nation. They want to tear down. They want to tear our nation down, and like Barack Obama famously said, fundamentally transform it. But my question is this: if we used our Constitution, if we used the words of our Declaration of Independence, if we've used our court of laws to fight against slavery and end slavery, if we use it to end Jim Crow, and if we are using it now to fight against bigotry and sexism and all those things, and the proof is in the pudding, that is exactly how we fought against those things and ended those institutions. Why would we not be teaching our children just that? Teaching our children about our exceptional American government and how they can use that to continue to rise in this nation, instead of teaching them to hate those systems and trying to tear it down. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, I'm finding that, a lot of times when people feel like they can keep you divided based on race, gender, ethnicity, your religious status, as long as they can keep you divided into small, miniature segments and sections, they can easily control the masses of people. And they want to keep that out there so that they can keep hate out there. That's called being divisive. If they can keep this country divided and divisive, they'll keep us focusing over here on something that don't even mean nothing to us, while they're over here doing other things behind our backs. And it's time for us to be focused and not be distracted with all of this race stuff. Even when it comes down to affirmative action, I think that's even a form of racism or racist, to take and pick somebody based on the color of their skin instead of based on a context or content within their resume. And we as Black Americans, it's time for us to remove skin color and remember that we are Americans, American first, and we can obtain the American dream. But as long as the masses try to keep you stuck in the pains of your ancestors, keep you stuck in slavery to make you feel like you are a slave, then that's why you get what you're getting today with people walking out, marching, talking about no justice, no peace, and think that they are actually natural born slaves.
And they never was born a slave.
Yeah.
Well, on a good note, Lieutenant Governor, you're the first Black Lieutenant Governor right here in North Carolina.
Yes.
Are you enjoying the job?
Absolutely. We're having a fantastic time. We feel like we are well on our way to serving the people of North Carolina, just like we promised, being able to do some of the things that we promised we would do during the election. And we're going to continue to do that. I wanted to expand on something you said. It all boils down to one phrase. These folks on the left want us to continue to think like victims. They don't want us to think like victors. When you look at the history of Black people in this country, when you look at the history of the United States of America itself, it is a story of overcoming. It's a story of victory.
Yes.
We have been victorious over slavery. We've been victorious over Jim Crow. We've been victorious over every enemy we've ever faced in this nation. And that's what we need to be teaching our children.
Right.
You don't have to be a victim under this system. You can be victorious. And that's what we need to be teaching.
Wow.
Incredible.
And you are so right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Lieutenant Governor, for joining us. Listen, how can people get in contact with you? Do you have a website?
Yes, you can Facebook, Mark Robinson on Facebook, and then Mark Robinson NC on Twitter, and then our website is markrobinson4nc.com.
All right,
Wonderful.
you all, Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson, you make us proud.
Yes.
Right
Thank
here in North Carolina. Thank you so much for being on the show.
God bless.
Thank you for having me. Yes, we appreciate it. Good to see you all again.
Oh my God, what a great conversation with
Yes.
Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson. And I'm telling you, technology is so savvy now.
Yeah.
You can be in your car driving and do an interview.
We can still interview.
We know he's a very busy man,
Yeah.
but I surely appreciate him
Yes.
joining us. That was an honor.
Amazing.
Listen, don't forget to subscribe to our podcast so each time we drop a new episode, you will receive notification. And don't forget about our book, Uprising, Who the Hell Said You Can't Ditch and Switch, The Awakening of Diamond and Silk. You can get the book at diamondandsilkbookstore.com.
And if you would like to advertise on this podcast, feel free to send an email to info@diamondandsilk.com. That's info@diamondandsilk.com. And if you're tired of all of that censorship going on social media platforms, then join Diamond and Silk's new social media platform called Chatdit, ChatDit.com. And don't forget to give us a review, and a 5-star will do.
So listen, y'all, we was just coming to give y'all the 211. We call it the 211 because it's two of us.
And we're the ones giving it to you.
So in the meantime and in between time, we will see you all next time right here on Diamond and Silk, the podcast.
Bye-bye.
Now, here's a word from our sponsor. Hey, y'all.
Hey.
It's Diamond and Silk. Listen. We still have a patriot out there fighting for the integrity of the 2020 election. So we must support him.
That's right.
Now that's Mike Lindell. So I want you to head over there to mypillow.com, purchase anything on the site, and make sure you use code DS21. That's code DS21. Go to mypillow.com.
And when you use code DS21, you can save up to 66%. Make your purchase now at mypillow.com or call toll-free 1-800-667-2756. That's 1-800-667-2756 and save up to 66%.
Silk, it sound like you save a lot. So head over there to mypillow.com. Hey y'all,
Hey.
Today's show is being brought to you by Baby Mama Health Supplements. Now, do you guys feel like you need a cleanse or a detox after 2020?
Do you?
Like all that stress, tension, and negativity
Uh-huh.
just got you feeling exhausted.
Or maybe you put on pandemic pounds and need a reset.
You're right, Silk. I'm starting to look like a well-rounded apple around in my midsection.
Uh-huh.
Well, our new sponsor has just released an all-natural vitamin set that will help your body get back on track.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
That's right.
Baby Mama's Bundle Cleanse contains an all-natural liver and colon cleanse that works together to eliminate toxins, waste, and stored fat.
Mm-hmm.
So head over there to babymama.online
Uh-huh.
and look for the Bundle Cleanse.
That's right.
Don't forget to use code DS21 to save 20% off your entire purchase.
That's babymama.online.